It'll be the 14th season for JT Wall as the head coach at John Milledge this year. John Milledge finally defeated in the state championship game against Valwood last year to snap a state record 62 game winning streak. That was an incredible run, JT. You never wanted it to end, but it was the focal point of your whole program there for a while. It was like, what's the number? What's the number at? I mean, you had to deal with that a lot for the last couple of years, didn't you?
We did, and it was as people say, it's rich folks' problems. You'll take those problems all the time, but
Yeah.
it's whether you wanted it to be the focal point or not. I mean, it definitely was a topic of conversation, and people wanted to bring it up. There for the longest time, we really were rocking along, not really paying a whole lot of attention, and it kind of snuck up on you, and the number was what it was, and then we just kind of embraced it and went on with it. So.
Well, it was a unbelievable run, no question. I never thought it'd get to 62. I mean, when you got to 30s and 40s, like, wow, then you hit 50, and it was just incredible, something I know you'll be proud of for the rest of your career. All right, let's talk about your defense for this upcoming season. Three starters back. You're going to rely on Bryce McDonald and David Todd, two of your guys that are coming back of those three to really help you on defense, because that defense has been such a staple for you. You can't afford for it to kind of take a step back, can you?
No, we can't. And we say every year that, offensively, those are the guys that get the names in the paper and on TV and get the highlights. But that's who we've been the last, 10 or 12 years with all the success we've had is we've been a defensive minded football club that flies around and, tries to make plays. And those guys have year in, year out have bought in, to the style of play we've played. And we're hoping that these guys, we know we're going to be young in a lot of spots, but we're hoping these guys that are coming back as starters are going to be able to do what they did last year. David Todd's a good leader. Bryce McDonald's, he played, 4 or 5 different positions for us last year on the defensive side of the ball. So he's very versatile in places we can put him and things that he can make plays from a lot of different places. So they're going to be fun to watch. And we hope those big guys up front can – do what they're supposed to do and get some pressure off the quarterback.
Real quick, I'm not going to ask you, are your kids hungry to start another streak? We're all hungry here in the preseason, but I would think the conversation had to be, okay, let's start a new one. Have they talked about that? Are they just kind of focusing on the future and moving forward with it now?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of going with the motto of a clean slate. Just starting. You kind of want every year to be a clean slate, but it was so hard. It was so hard with the streak not to kind of get attached to the previous year or the 2 or the 3 or the 4 years previous. So these guys, they have that luxury of the team, this group before them, losing the last one. So we'll start from scratch and kind of keep rolling.
First game will be on August 16th against Bethlehem Christian Academy. We'll talk about that offense for John Milledge with Coach Wall in our next report. John Milledge, of course, looking to start a new season with a new streak after losing the state championship game last season. JT Wall, the great JT Wall, back for his 14th season in Milledgeville with this team. And you have a luxury of a returning quarterback, Colt McMichael, who, boy, he had a really good year for you last season as a junior. Now he's a senior. You're going to be counting a lot on him, especially with the Butts boys gone, right?
Oh, man, yes. And, he stepped up last year as a junior, replacing Briggs Edie. As a sophomore, Colt, had over 100 tackles as a linebacker for us and then stepped in and played quarterback for us as a junior. Big time arm, is a good enough runner to kind of make things happen with his feet too. And was rocking along, having a great junior year. And then week 4 tore his ACL and was out, for a few weeks. And then one thing led to another, and we were able to brace him up, and he came back and played on a torn ACL to finish the year. And he broke every passing record we had as a school, and just kind of a gritty dude that plays hard and old school quarterback that loves to win. And that's what he's doing now, trying to lead these young guys, and kind of show them how to work kind of every day, trying to get a little better. And he's a special one.
Javian Butts, 2,265 rushing yards, 28 touchdowns. Jalen Butts, 725 receiving yards. Those kids did a lot for you. What are you going to do? And, of course, Bud Veal, too. We can't forget about him. He's been around for a while. I mean, those three have done great amount of work for you offensively, haven't they, JT?
They did, and when you talk about losing a senior, it always hurts to try to replace that guy. But those guys are guys you're talking about that are 3-year, some of them 4-year starters that every year we were game planning for the new year. We always knew we had Jalen, Javian, and Bud ready to go. Those 3 guys just come to mind. But I mean, that group of guys were ready to roll, ready to go. And there wasn't a whole lot of, installing new stuff for those guys. It was just kind of refreshing them on what we do. And it was kind of a security blanket to have those guys around because you always knew they knew what was going on. They knew how we coached, kind of the nuances that we were looking for and kind of have, as a staff. So we got to find those new guys and these young guys to step up and be those guys. And the luxury is, those guys were able to learn under some guys just like them. And, we're looking for these young guys to step up and time to grow up.
We'll see what happens. Should be interesting. It's going to be a tough chore after averaging 31 points per game and doing so well offensively, but we'll see how these young players do. All right, first game August 16th against Bethlehem Christian Academy. JT, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Have a great season.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bill.